My name is Belinda Cooke, and I've been attending Real Life Church since December of 2013. I do not feel that I grew up in a home of faith. I was always curious about what God is and why do people go, and I wanted to know, but I didn't know how to go about finding it. So I absolutely had to fight to find faith in my life. I went to the same high school as my husband, Paul. We didn't know each other at the time, but years down the road, we found each other on social media. We went on a date, and we were together every day since. Paul's one of the most amazing people you'll ever meet. He is so genuine. He's so caring. He's a firefighter. He saved lives. I mean, he's an amazing father. We have 2 daughters, absolutely fantastic, and they remind me so much of Paul. So when I was pregnant with our first daughter, Casey, I still had that desire to go to church, and I knew my husband went to church. He went to church as a child, so I'd asked him if we can go to church. So he had said to me, go ahead, and when you find something you like, we'll go together. And I went to a lot of churches in this town. It became a little frustrating because every church I went to was a little different. Then I decided to try Real Life Church. But it was amazing. It wasn't like any of the other churches I went to. The music's fantastic, the lights, it's fun. There was just something different. It felt like I had been there before, but I had never been there before. So that evening I went home and I had called my husband. We would talk every night before we go to bed on the nights that he worked. And he came with me the following Sunday, and he had a great time. He used the term different, but then he backed it up by saying different, but I really liked it. Paul's LA County firefighter, paramedic. He did get an injury. He hurt his back pretty bad, and he was on medical leave for a while trying to get better from that injury. He was struggling with immense pain, had a difficult time putting his shoes on, getting out of bed. I think one of the most heartbreaking things was when I had our second daughter, he was unable to even lean over the crib to pick her up, and that was a really tough day for us. He felt really bad, and he shouldn't have. They gave him pain medication he was taking, and then the county basically said you can only be on leave for about a year. After a year, you've got to make a decision. You either retire or you go back to work. If he got surgery, he'd be out longer than a year. If he didn't get the surgery, he can go back, but he had to go back in pain. And that's what he chose. He chose to go back for the family. For our 5-year wedding anniversary, Paul and I arranged to leave town, and we stayed at a beautiful resort. It was probably one of the best weekends of our life. It was like we were just dating all over again. It was so much fun. I don't know what happened. I don't have any answers. But the last night, we decided to stay the night in versus going out. And while we were in, I had gone out on the balcony, and I was out there for a while, probably about 20, maybe 30 minutes. And Paul had not come out. So I went in, and I went in the bathroom and found that he had taken his own life. I can give you a lot of words of how I felt, but I can't truly describe how I felt. It was chaos. That night in my mind was chaos. So the time had come that I needed to plan my husband's service. I didn't know where to go. It had just been 3 months that we'd been attending Real Life Church. So the fire department arranged a meeting with Lisa and Jeff at Real Life. I didn't really know them, they didn't know me, but they would do anything to help me. I was surprised because who am I? But they were willing to do whatever it took. I wasn't a job, I wasn't a funeral service they were taking care of. They made me feel like I was the only one who attended that church. Nothing else seemed like priority to them other than helping me. That's love. I had struggled my whole life to have God in my life. So while mourning my husband, I had a decision to make. Am I going to continue going to church? And I was very fearful that if I walked into that church again, all I would see is my husband's death. And I said, no, just go inside. If it's too uncomfortable, I can leave. And what was amazing And I'm sure a lot of people say this, it's probably a cliche. The worship songs were all songs that I needed to hear. And the message was a message I needed to hear. And again, it was like I was the only one in that room. It was uncomfortable and a little painful to be there, but that little bit of pain was worth what I needed to hear. It was God saying, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but this is where you're supposed to be. And if you can trust me, I will walk you through this. And I did. And I've been there ever since. I'm hopeful that every tear I've ever shed is worth it. If just one person can find what I've found, he definitely shows you a way. He shows you exactly how to do it. It's pretty incredible.